Hello everyone, welcome to the Story Couch. Today the story is about a little girl who spent 8 years in complete silence. People called her strange, some called her broken. Many believed she would never speak. But one teacher refused to give up on her, and what happened next changed both of their lives forever. This is the story of the girl who never spoke. Now, Lily was 8 years old. She lived in a small village where everyone knew everyone. But there was one thing everyone knew about Lily. She never spoke, not a single word, not to her mother, not to her teacher, not even to the children who tried to befriend her. Whenever someone spoke to her, she simply looked away. The villagers whispered about her. Some felt sorry for her, others thought there was something wrong with her. Only her mother knew the truth. Years earlier, Lily had witnessed a traumatic event that shattered her confidence and trapped her inside her own silence. Doctors had tried, counselors had tried, nothing worked, and as the years passed, hope slowly disappeared until a new teacher arrived. The new school year began on a cool autumn morning. Students filled the hallway with laughter and excitement. But in the far corner of the classroom, Lily sat alone, just as she always did. Her eyes remained fixed on the sketchbook resting on her desk. She didn't look at the other children. She didn't join their conversation. She didn't smile when attendance was called. Every student answered, every student except Lily. The classroom grew quiet for a moment, then the teacher simply marked her present and continued. To everyone else, it was normal. Lily never spoke. That same week, a new teacher arrived in the village. Her name was Emma Reed. She was young, energetic, and believed every child deserved a chance. On her first day, she noticed Lily immediately, not because Lily was causing trouble, but because she looked completely invisible. While the other children laughed together during lunch, Lily sat under a tree alone. Drawing, always drawing. Emma watched from a distance. There was sadness in those drawings. Even from far away, she could feel it. Later that afternoon, Emma asked another teacher about the little girl. The teacher sighed. That's Lily. Emma silent. Emma smiled. Why is she always alone? The teacher hesitated because she does not talk. Not at all. The teacher shook her head. Not for years. Emma frowned. What happened? No one knows everything, but something happened when she was very young. Then the teacher lowered her voice. Honestly, Emma, don't waste your time. What do you mean? We have all tried. Doctors tried, counselor tried, teachers tried. The teacher looked toward the playground. Nothing changes. Emma remained silent. Across the field, Lily sat beneath the same tree, alone, drawing for a moment. Emma felt something she could not explain. Not pity, not curiosity, hope. That evening, as the student left school, Emma noticed a piece of paper lying beside Lily's desk. It was a drawing. A small girl standing alone in the rain. No umbrella, no friends, no family, just rain and loneliness. Emma carefully picked it up. At the bottom corner was tiny signature. Lily. Emma folded the paper and smiled softly for the first time in years. Someone had decided not to give up on her. The next morning, Emma walked into the classroom carrying Lily's drawing. She waited until the lesson ended. Then she quietly approached Lily's desk. Lily immediately looked down at her sketchbook, avoiding eye contact as usual. Emma gently placed the drawing on the table. You made this. Lily said nothing. Emma was not surprised. Instead, she smiled. It's beautiful. No answer. But Emma noticed something. Lily's finger tightened slightly around her pencil. She had heard her. That was enough. The following day, Emma sat beside Lily during lunch. She did not ask questions. She did not try to force a conversation. She simply sat there. The silence felt awkward at first, but Emma stayed anyway. Day after day, week after week, some days they sat together without exchanging a single word. Yet something was changing slowly, almost invisibly. One afternoon, Emma discovered a folded piece of paper on her desk. There was no name, no note, only a drawing that showed two people sitting beneath a tree. One was a little girl, the other looked like a teacher. Emma smiled immediately. She knew who had drawn it. The next day, she brought the picture back. Thank you. Lily's eyes widened slightly. It was the closest thing to a reaction Emma had ever seen. From that moment, a quiet routine began. Every few days, a new drawing appeared on Emma's desk, and every time Emma left a small note. Beautiful, you are very talented. I like this one. No pressure, no demands, only kindness. Only kindness. Week passed, then months. One rainy afternoon, Emma received another drawing, but this one was different, very different. The picture showed a frightened little girl hiding behind a door. Outside the door stood two shadowy figures arguing. The girl's face was filled with fear. Emma stared at the drawing. Her smile slowly faded. This was not imagination, this was a memory. For the first time, Emma realized that Lily was not hiding from the world. She was hiding from something much deeper, something painful, something she had carried alone for years, and somehow the little drawing had just revealed the first piece of the truth. That evening, Emma could not stop thinking about the drawing. The frightened little girl, the door, the ugly figures, the fear. It was not just a picture, it was a memory. The next day, Emma gently asked Lily's mother if they could talk. At first, Lily's mother hesitated, then she finally agreed. The conversation lasted nearly 2 hours, and by the time it ended, Emma understood everything. Years earlier, Lily had lived in a home filled with shouting. Her parents argued constantly, every day, every night, sometimes for hours. As a small child, Lily would hide in her room and cover her ears. She was terrified. One stormy evening, the argument became worse than ever. Lily heard screaming, glass breaking, doors slamming, then silence. The next morning, her father was gone. He never came back. No goodbye, no explanation, no letter, nothing. To an adult, it was a painful separation. To a 5 years old child, it felt like abandonment. Something inside Lily broke that day. She stopped speaking. At first, everyone thought it was temporary. A few days, a few weeks, but weeks became months, months became years. The silence grew stronger, like walls around her heart. Emma listened quietly, tears filled her eyes. For years, everyone had focused on Lily's silence. Nobody had focused on her pain. The following morning, Emma sat beside Lily beneath the old tree. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Then Emma looked at her gently. You have been carrying something very heavy. Lily froze. Her hands tightened around her sketchbook. Emma didn't push. She simply smiled. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. For the first time ever, Lily looked directly into Emma's eyes. Neither of them spoke, but somehow Emma knew. A tiny crack had appeared in the wall, and light was finally beginning to enter. Winter arrived. Snow covered the rooftops. The village grew quiet, and little by little, Lily began to change, not dramatically, not overnight, but in small ways, beautiful ways. She started spending more time around other children. She no longer sat alone every lunch break. Sometimes she joined group activities. Sometimes she even laughed silently at jokes the teacher noticed, the student noticed, even Lily's mother noticed. Hope had returned to their home. One afternoon, Emma found Lily standing outside her classroom after school. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Lily carefully handed her a folded piece of paper. Emma opened it. Inside was a drawing. It showed a little girl standing beneath a dark storm cloud. But this time there was someone beside her, holding an umbrella, protecting her from the rain. Emma felt tears form in her eyes. She knew exactly what the drawing meant. Without saying a word, she hugged Lily. And for the first time in years, Lily hugged someone back. As the months passed, Emma never pressured her to speak. Never once. Many people suggested it. You should make her try. You should force conversation. You should push harder. But Emma always answered the same way. No. One evening after school, she sat beside Lily under the old tree. The sun was setting. Golden light covered the playground. Emma smiled softly. Know something? Lily looked at her. I don't care how long it takes. The little girl remained silent. Emma continued. A week, a year, 10 years. I will still believe in you. Lily stared at her. Emma smiled. That's a promise. For a moment, Lily's eyes filled with tears. Then she nodded just once, a tiny moment. But to Emma, it meant everything. Neither of them knew it then, but only a few weeks later, that promise would be tested in a way neither could have imagined. Spring arrived, then snow melted, flowers began blooming around the village. Life felt peaceful again. For the first time in years, Lily's mother allowed herself to believe that her daughter might someday find her voice. At school, things were changing too. Lily still didn't speak, but she smiled more often. She spent time with classmates, and whenever Emma entered the room, her eyes immediately brightened. Then one ordinary Tuesday changed everything. It started during the afternoon science class. Students were walking quietly when suddenly a loud alarm echoed through the building. At first, everyone froze. Then teachers rushed into the hallways. Smoke had been spotted in one section of the school. Panic spread quickly. Children began crying. Teachers started evacuation classrooms. Emma immediately guided her student toward the nearest exit. Stay calm, stay together. The children followed her instructions. But in the confusion, one student stumbled. Emma turned back to help. As she reached for the child, a heavy shelf that had loosened during the chaos suddenly collapsed nearby. Emma lost her balance and fell hard onto the floor. The hallway filled with screams. Students stopped moving. For a terrifying moment, nobody knew what to do. Lily stood frozen. Her heart pounded. The world around her seemed to disappear. All she could see was Emma lying on the floor. The woman who had never given up on her. The woman who had believed in her when nobody else did. Emma tried to stand, but she couldn't. Lily, the word barely escaped Emma's lips, and then something happened. Something nobody expected. Something 8 years of doctors, counselors, and teachers had failed to achieve. She shattered the wall around Lily's voice. Tears filled her eyes, her entire body trembled, and for the first time in 8 years, she screamed, Teacher! The hallway felt silent. Every student stopped moving, every teacher turned around. Nobody could believe what they had just heard. Emma looked up, her eyes widened. Tears instantly filled them. Lily ran toward her, still crying, still shaking. Teacher. The word came the word came again, louder this time, real, alive. Emma pulled her into a hug, and both of them began crying. The silence that had trapped Lily for years was finally broken, not by force, not by pressure, and not by love, by trust and by hope. The story of Lily's first word spread throughout the village. People who had once believed she would never speak could hardly believe what had happened. But the biggest change was not the word itself, it was what came after. Little by little, Lily began speaking more. First a few words, then short sentences, then conversation. Every new word felt like a miracle. Her mother cried almost every night, not for sadness but from gratitude. The little girl she thought she had lost was finally finding her way back. Years passed, Lily grew older, her confidence grew stronger, and something surprising happened. The girl who once feared speaking became someone who loved telling stories. She began writing, then sharing those stories, then speaking in front of audiences. At first, it was terrifying, but every time fear appeared, she remembered Emma's promise: I will still believe in you. Eventually, Lily became a successful author and motivational speaker. Thousands of people listened to her words, thousands found hope in her story. That one day the village organized a special ceremony in her honor. People came from everywhere: former teachers, old classmates, families, friends, and sitting quietly in the front row was Emma Reed, a little older now, a few grey hairs, but the same kind smile. When Lily stepped onto the stage, the audience erupted into applause. For a moment, she stood silently, looked at the crowd, then she smiled and began speaking. Many years ago, people believed I would never speak. The room became completely silent. They thought my first word was teacher. Lily glanced toward Emma. Tears already filled the teacher's eyes. Then Lily smiled again, but they were wrong. The audience listened carefully. My first word was not teacher. She paused. It was hope. A tear rolled down Emma's cheek because hope was the first thing my teacher ever gave me. The audience wiped away tears. Many openly cried. Lily looked directly at Emma, and when everyone else gave up, her voice trembled. You stayed. Emma covered her mouth as tears streamed down her face. The audience rose to their feet. A standing ovation filled the hall. But Lily only looked at one person, the one who had changed her life. The woman who taught her that broken people do not need fixing, they need believing. And in that moment, Lily finally understood something. Her voice had never truly been lost. It had simply been waiting for someone to help her find it. Thank you for spending time with us on the story couch. Sometimes the strongest people are not the ones who speak the loudest. Sometimes they are the ones fighting silent battles nobody else can see. This story touched your heart. Share it with someone who may need a little hope today. And remember, a single person who believes in you can change your entire life. Until next time, this is the Story Couch. Goodbye.